I don't have time to play with my kids. I think I would be rich if someone gave me $1 every time I heard that. It's because parents think they don't have time to play. It's one more thing on the to-do list. Play is not an efficient use of time. It's not productive. What I have found is that it has nothing to do with time. It's actually because you are so burnt out, exhausted, overwhelmed that your brain thinks that it has no room for play. This is what we're going to talk about today is why this happens, how you get into this state, what the research says about getting out of burnout, out of survival mode, and then why play might be the fastest way out of burnout. It's not one more thing on top of it. But the big part of this is that it starts with mindset, not necessarily a time management trick. When it comes to playing with our kids, often, as I said at the beginning, that parents feel like they don't have enough time. But when we start to dig a little bit, we actually find that it's way more than that. It could be tied to having parents who didn't value play or your play had to stop. I think I've shared on here before, I was checking out at Target with my kids, and this girl that was checking us out, she was probably 18 or 19, lit up whenever she saw the Hot Wheels track that she was ringing up for us. Then I saw this really sad look on her face. I asked her about it. She said, "Oh, we used to love doing this until it got taken away from us because my parents said we were just too loud and crazy. And it caused her parents discomfort. Therefore, the play got stopped." And we then carry these play wounds around us. So that's one aspect of it. But a big piece of why it feels like we don't have time to play with our kids is connected to parental burnout. A recent national survey showed that over half of the parents that they asked these questions to reported that they were in burnout. I was just coaching a family. The mom is in complete exhaustion, overwhelmed. She's at a place where she knows her nervous system is burnt out. And her husband asked me, "Is this normal?" Yes, over half of parents are reporting that they are burnt out. I did a little digging to see why is this? How do we get to this place? And then two reasons, there's lots of reasons for it, of course, but two main reasons is the shoulds. We feel as parents that we should XYZ. Our kids should behave in these ways. If our kids aren't behaving in the way that society says they need to behave, then that means we are terrible parents. It also is connected to our beliefs about ourselves and not feeling like we're enough. All of these beliefs are formed in childhood because we didn't get what we needed. And that is what we're trying to break, these generational patterns of not feeling enough. We can look at all of the shoulds and how we're shoulding all over ourselves and our kids and start there. And then another piece of this puzzle that we can do is really look at our mindset and our beliefs about what is happening. And then when we do this, we are able to help our kids have expansive beliefs about themselves and not be walking around feeling like they're never enough no matter what they do. Another thing is perfectionism in parenting. I also see this in my Purpose Parent Transformation Program. Heck, I see this in my own life. I am a recovering perfectionist. I think most days, sometimes I would say I'm not recovering from anything and I really struggle because I want to make sure I'm a perfect parent, a perfect wife, a perfect friend. And then whenever I get into that needing to be perfect, I fail in all accounts. And that is what research shows us about parents too wanting to be perfect. The reason why we feel that way, again, it probably comes from childhood of being rated and always put under a microscope for our behavior, even the way we were learning in school and grades. And it's just, we're always having to perform to meet other people's standards. And then it develops this need to be perfect in order to feel safe. Okay, so those are a lot of the reasons why. What it also shows is that parents that can have a growth mindset about all of this of I'm not perfect and that's okay, but I can keep growing. I can keep making better decisions. What I do in my Purpose Parent Transformation Program is I sit with the parents and they will go through a specific scenario with their kids and we'll stop and pause. And a lot of times what they start doing on their own is they reflect back of, oh, we totally missed some opportunities here. We know we should have been connecting. However, we were completely in reactive mode. We just needed it to stop. We needed to be in control. We needed to be able to be perfect. None of that exists. So outside of the moment, they can reflect back. Then we can visualize, what would we do different? And that is having a growth mindset. Also, it always starts with awareness. If you can be aware of what's going on in your body, what your thoughts are telling you, what emotions are coming up, that is step one of getting out of burnout. Basically, what I'm saying and what the researchers have found when it comes to parental burnout is the way you think about what's happening, your kids' behavior, the hard moments in parenting, that changes how depleted you are. This also goes with play. What you think about play is going to be whether you can be playful or not. If you think, I don't have time for this is stupid, I feel stupid, this is not my thing, all of those thoughts come from core beliefs. And basically, it's telling your brain, don't play. The thing is, what we know about play and the science of it is that play is your brain's mode of learning. And it's even more so your kids' brain's mode of learning and connection. There are so many positive reasons why you should be playing. It will help you have more joy in your life. Number one, I mean, think about it. If you are needing to correct your child, which feels better? Put your clothes away, hang your shirts up, take your socks. I told you to put them in your bin. Or, hey, I think we need to put the clothes in the closet, in the closet, in the closet. Let's take our shirts and put them on the hangers and put them in the closet now. I could feel the shift just as I was delivering that, totally coming up with it as it was coming out of my mouth. Did not have this pre-formulated idea or script of how I was going to make putting your clothes away in a positive, playful way. It just was coming out. It was flowing. I could feel it, and it felt so much better than when I was pretending to yell. And I was pretending. And so we get into this place where we feel like it's one more thing. So let's think about what you're thinking about. Metacognition is what that's called. What are you thinking about play? How can you shift that into something that's more helpful, knowing that play is the way? It's also the best way to get out of burnout. What burnout is whenever you get stuck in a place in your nervous system, either sympathetic, fight or flight, or you get stuck in dorsal vagal shutdown, which is freeze. You have no motivation to do anything. The quickest way up out of both of those states, you guessed it, is play. Therefore, you don't have time not to play, which means it's time to play. I want to also share and end this with ways to play that are easy and it doesn't feel like one more thing you have to do. Oh, and before I do that, I do want to call out the paradox because play may seem like it will make you more exhausted and it will be taking withdrawals. What experts have found it actually can put in deposits, both for yourself as a human being, not just as a mom or a dad, and then also for your kids. And what they call this, whenever we do it together, is connection blocks. We want to have these blocks of time with our kids where there's no phone in front of our face. We're not thinking about what we need to do. It could be 1 minute. I bet you can carve out 1 minute of a connection block where you are not distracted by anything else and be playful. When I talk about play, I think a lot of parents think they have to sit down and pretend to be something or take dolls and talk like them. And that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about saying the same exact words, but making it playful. And remember, instead of it having withdrawals from you, we want to be able to get to a place where we're allowing it to fill up our connection bank and fill up our kids' connection bank, which then leads to a stronger relationship. When you have a stronger relationship, guess what happens? Ding, ding, ding. Kids will listen better and they want to do better and they want to make good choices and they're intrinsically motivated. And it just goes on and on and on, which when we have that, then we are no longer in burnout. Do you see the end you see the end here, my friends? I get really excited about this. So we can start with the I don't have time for play and shift it to it's not even about time. It's shifting it to and reframing it on I'm going to make this count. How does that land? How does that feel? I'm going to use this voice. I'm going to make it count. It lands different in your body and it will land different for your kids and again in your relationship together. Okay, so here are some of the quick things that you can do already, basically using the same words you're using already or doing the things if you're cooking dinner or getting ready for bed or you're throwing your kids into the bathtub. How can you turn that into play that connects both of your upstairs brains, your child's upstairs brain, your upstairs brain, your social engagement system, your highest level of self where you feel really good. So excited I can't even have the words coming out of my mouth in the right way. So here are some really quick things that you can do is what I just demonstrated is turning it into a silly voice. I like using this voice. I'll use a voice like this. Or hello. I get really deep and real deep because a lot of times when I talk normally, it's as if my kids don't hear me at all. I just did this morning. I started talking like this and I had this look on my face. If you're watching on YouTube, I don't even want to watch this back. But my eyes are getting big and my forehead is kind of scrunched up and I use a really deep voice. My son looked at me and said, "Why are you talking like that?" I said, "Because I was talking in my normal voice and you couldn't hear me." As soon as I shifted, he actually heard me. Now, did he do what I was asking? I don't remember, but he at least paid attention and then I felt seen and heard and I was able to get my need met in the moment. No, not that he's responsible for that. However, I didn't get to frustration land because I was able to disrupt him from not listening to me by using play. So changing your voice, turning it into song, turning it into dance. You are already getting your kids into the bath. Let's do a little jig while we're going down the hallway. And then they'll start doing a little jig. Something I absolutely love doing too is following their lead. Kids are naturally playful. You are an adult, which means you were a child at one point, which also means your first language was play. Somewhere along the way, becoming an adult made it seem like play is hard and not fun. But once you do this little by little, you'll find your way again. And again, you'll be able to find that joy in parenting that you desperately want. And this will again pull you out of burnout. So follow the lead. I will put a video that it was a quick reel I did on Instagram that I just pulled my camera out really fast because my son was slamming his face against our back window door that he had just cleaned because that's one of his chores. I could have gotten mad, frustrated, told him, "We gotta go clean that again," or, all the thinking about it, about something that it was causing more work for me. I think that's a thought that a lot of us have to be aware of. Instead, I slam my body onto the back window. He slams his body onto the back window. We did this for a good 20 seconds, completely connected through play. I didn't have to come up with anything. I just followed his lead. Then we turned the cleaning up after and spraying the window into more play and more laughter and connection with each other instead of frustration and yelling and all the things that maybe that's the environment we grew up in. So that is what comes online for us. But there is a better way, and that better way is through play. I encourage you to give yourself a 1 minute or 2 minute connection block time every day. Try to find moments when you're already together. It's not one more thing that you have to do. Swap one should thought of what you should be doing or your kids should be doing and turn it more into a permission count or a permission thought. As I said, these 2 minutes count. I'm going to make it count. I'm going to be a spy for 2 minutes. That just came to me as I was saying, let's make this count. For some reason, I felt like a spy. Not sure that spies act like that, but in my head, they do. And that's what matters. Then the third thing is, as I had said, was borrow your kids' energy instead of generating your own. This especially will be helpful if you are in burnout and you can't get yourself out. Borrow your kids' high energy. That might be what caused you to get to that point, but then you can borrow it instead of letting it drain you. Here's the action step is this week, don't try to find more time to play. Instead, catch yourself whenever you're getting ready to yell or demand or command or give direction and make one little tiny switch using the tips that I've shared in this episode. The parents who are completely exhausted and overwhelmed and feel like they have no energy to play are the ones who are constantly working so incredibly hard to get it quote unquote right. I want you to remember that burnout lies to you. It tells you you don't have time for play. Instead, remember that what play does is get you out of that state much quicker than other things. But also, if you are fully in burnout, you may also want to look into therapy or somatic experiencing, or even my program. I have a 12 module program where we work side by side for 6 months. I give you so much high touch support. We have support in between coaching sessions. You're given all the tools. We do a lot of practice together. So it's not just about learning more information so that you can be mindful of what thoughts are leading to these behaviors of mine. Why am I in burnout? And what can I do to get out of it? To learn more, all you need to do is go to raisingkidswithpurpose.com/chat. I would love to meet you and hear all the things that are going on in your parenting and see if I can better support you. Okay, until then, go raise those kids with purpose.